know for some of you, I'm your very first Jew. We got any Jews in the house tonight? Good, good. It looks like maybe in Portland people are still willing to admit it publicly. That's great. You are in a safe space. You're okay. I also want to let you know that we're not going to have a kids cam tonight. So if you're having an affair with your HR director, feel free to carry on. So the first half of 2025 is behind us. How are you guys enjoying this year so far? You know, I had a hysterectomy over 10 years ago, but I'm thinking about scheduling myself an abortion just to celebrate the fact that I live in California. And speaking of abortions, that's a great way to start a sentence, isn't it? But speaking of abortions, different groups have different ideas about when life officially begins. Some people think life begins at conception. Others think life begins when the fetus becomes viable, like at birth. Jews don't believe that the fetus becomes viable until it graduates from medical school. I was born in New York, moved out to LA when I was young, and I lived in San Diego for many decades. So basically, I was born in a city that never sleeps, and now I live in a city that never really wakes up. I mean, it turns out there's a very big cultural difference between being a Jew in New York and being in San Diego, where I had to learn to tone it. People cannot handle too much intensity here. When I first moved out here, I'd go up to people and be like, "Hi, I'm Elisa." And they'd be like, "Whoa." Okay, I will try to talk slower, smile more, and try not to have too many opinions. In San Diego, sometimes when I tell people that I'm Jewish, they'll say to me, "You don't look Jewish." I tell them that's because my horns are well hidden. Underneath my hair. But what I'm about to reveal to you is that I'm a pretty unique kind of Jew. Y'all ready for this? Yeah. I'm a poor Jew. I know. Who knew that poor Jews existed, but here I am. It's embarrassing. I was supposed to be rich, but I just didn't get the memo. Ironically, I do fundraising for a living. I work for a university, and I raise funds for scholarships and other things because higher education is crazy expensive in this country. So as a result, I get to meet a lot of wealthy people. And you know the saying that money does not buy happiness? A lot of the wealthy people I meet are not always particularly happy. But when I think about it, I'm not always particularly happy either. So I'm willing to take a chance on being wealthy. If you want to throw money at me, have at it. I'm ready. Catch it. So I've been happily married for nearly 30 years. 30 years! Insane. When I first met my husband, I mean, he was so handsome. And I thought, I met my soulmate. But now thinking back, I think it was just horny. You know, and that's a feeling I only vaguely remember. I remember the moment when I thought he might not be my soulmate after all. It was the moment when he uttered the words, "My favorite book of all time is Lord of the Rings." Which makes sense, you know, because I look like a hobbit. I thought, oh my God, this could be a huge mistake. It was supposed to be a romantic journey turned into a 12-hour trilogy where nobody has sex and everyone talks in riddles. Somehow we got through it anyway. Regardless of my marital status, throughout my life, random men have come up to me and said odd things, the things that no woman ever really wants to hear. For example, when I had just finished all of the requirements to graduate from college, and I was so excited. I knew I was going to graduate. I was sitting at a bus stop, and a man came up and sat down at the bus stop next to me. He kept looking at me, and I was trying to ignore him, just staying my joy. He kept looking at me. And finally, the bus came, and as I stood up, he said to me, "That's a real sexy little mustache you've got there." And I said, pickup lines. Like all of us. It's one of the many reasons that I love gay men. I was raised by a gay dad, and I have 2 sons. One is straight, one gay. I love both of my sons equally, even though one of them is straight. From the time my gay son was a little boy until he was a young adult, he was obsessed with roller coasters. He could tell you anything you wanted to know about any roller coaster in the world. And when he went off to college, we still had a shared cell phone family plan. And one day my husband came home and told me that there were 2 new charges on our cell phone bill. One for Roller Coaster Tycoon and the other for Grindr. He knew who the culprit was. He knew those charges. So it was interesting growing up with a gay dad. For the most part, my sister and I were fine with it. My brother sort of struggled with it. He wanted a manly man for a dad, someone who could be a pillar of strength, who he could watch sports with. One time my brother flew in to visit my dad, and my dad met him at the gate with flowers. My brother was pissed. My brother wanted a manly man, but he wound up having Liberace holding a bouquet at baggage claim. And I thought, what do you want him to show up with, a football and a Playboy? Come on. The thing about homosexuals and Jews is that we don't really make a big deal about it. Like, even when my dad came out in the 70s, it wasn't long before his parents just went on to accept it and had a loving relationship with him. His mother, my grandmother, did have a theory about what, quote unquote, turned my dad gay. Because she did not want to take responsibility for it. Her theory was that my dad never should have been in the room while my mom was giving birth to my brother. She thought that he took one look at a vagina in that state and thought, nope, that's it. It's from here on out. So one of my closest friends is a trans woman. We were friends while she was living as a man, and we're even closer now that she's living as a woman, and she recently had bodily surgery. She told me that trying to memorize the names of the different parts of the vagina is confusing. For example, there's the labia majora and the labia minora. What is the labia minora? I mean, as a Jew, when I hear the word menorah, I think of Hanukkah. And then I just wonder if maybe some biblical vagina burned for 8 days and 8 nights. I mean, talk about a burning bush.